So I woke up this morning at around 4 o'clock. I normally wake up around 3:30, 3:45. The reason I wake up is because my normally the reason I wake up is because my right hand would go numb, and then I'd have to shake it off. But so when I wake up early in the morning, I usually get up. I don't go back to sleep, and then I'll go to my shop, work on videos or whatever. Um, but this morning I didn't do that. I laid in bed thinking about getting the surgery I needed done because I've never had any surgeries done, and you know, so I was thinking about getting this surgery and the outcome of it. But what happened is I finally got out of bed around 6 o'clock. We left at 6:30. We got over to the hospital, and the first thing the nurse says is we got to do a COVID test. I said, okay. I had COVID virus. She gives me this startling look like she doesn't want to stand next to me, and I'm a disease, and I might be the cockroach that just crawled out of the corner. And she said, when did you have it? What are you talking about? You had it. Well, I had it in July. She says, take this and stick it up your nose. She wouldn't do it for me. She says, take this, and it's like a long handled cotton swab. Stick this up your nose in each nostril, and once you feel it hit the top of your nostril, go approximately 1 inch past that, and then twist it and move it around. So she sends me in the bathroom and then shuts the door behind me. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on a minute. I can actually spit on this and kind of swish it around on my finger and wait in here a couple minutes and then hack and cough and sneeze and act like I put it in my nose and she'd never know. So what kind of test actually is this for the COVID virus if they're sending me in the bathroom to do it all by myself without any, they're not watching me and they're not monitoring me? I mean, it's kind of stupid, but anyway, so being the honest Joe guy that I am, I go ahead and I stick this thing in my nose in one nostril and I push it on up in there, and it almost makes me fucking gag. And then I go ahead and I stick it in my other nostril, and now by this time my nose is starting to run, and I'm twisting it around in there, and the next thing you know, I'm having a fucking sneeze attack from hell, and I got snot all over my face, and it turned out to be a big mess. It actually made me have to go to the bathroom while I was in there, so I went ahead and, did what I had to do. I did basically everything but throw up from sticking this thing up in my fucking nose. Well, it turned out I didn't have COVID virus, so now the nurse is like, oh, okay, yeah, everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. She's not treating me like a cockroach anymore. We go back into the room, and the first thing the other nurse says, I guess they call her the pre-op nurse, and of course many of the body shop girls, she's sitting in there with me, and the first thing she says is, okay, take all your clothes off and put this on. And I'm like, you're fucking shitting me. I said, I'm getting, Minnie's telling me, shut up, don't talk, just do what she says. And I told Minnie, I said, hold on a minute, I'm getting my hand operated on. I'm not getting my stomach operated on or my back or anything. And Minnie says that's what everybody has to do, okay? So I take all my clothes off down to my underwear, and Minnie says, you need to take your underwear off too. And I said, well, I'm not taking my underwear off. If they want me to take my underwear off, I'll wait till they tell me to. So I didn't take my underwear off. And then after that, now I'm starting to get paranoid because I've never had surgery before. Okay, I've never had surgery. I always thought of myself as kind of being proud of myself because I never had any type of surgery. I've never been under the knife, or I've never been, well, I take that back. I had my tonsils taken out when I was 4 years old. And so now the nurse is like talking to me and, telling me what's going to happen and, give me a step-by-step procedure. And then here comes this other nurse guy, and he's the one that actually gives you the shot or whatever. But they said they had to put a needle in my arm, to put saline in my system. And I'm like, motherfucker, now I got to get this fucking needle put in my freaking arm. So I'm kind of freaking out about that. And then, I don't know if anybody's ever really been in a situation where you got people talking to you and you're like in outer space and you're not really understanding what they're saying because you're not really listening to them. And you're just kind of looking up at the ceiling, at the drop ceiling tile, and you're counting all the little holes on the tile and trying to find a certain pattern in the tile itself and kind of concentrating on, I wish it was 10 o'clock in the morning and this was over instead of 6 o'clock and I'm sitting here getting this surgery. A lot of people, they say, oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just a carpal tunnel. It's easy. It's a common situation. Well, there's people that left comments on my video that had brain surgery and back surgery and heart surgery. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm over here whining and crying because I'm getting this surgery that's going to take 35, 40 minutes and it's going to be done and over with. And there's people out there that are getting heart surgery and brain surgery and back surgery and fused bones and nerves and all this other shit. And I'm thinking to myself, am I a big fucking pussy here? I'm thinking to myself, this surgery is basically nothing. But then I start thinking to myself, I'm not a pussy. What I am is getting old. That's basically what the situation is. And when you get to this situation that you got to have your first surgery, because that's what this is. This is a first surgery situation. You start thinking back and you start seeing in your mind your past and what your life's been through. This carpal tunnel thing's been going on for 5 years, maybe 6. Before I had the surgery done, the doctor came in. She was a really nice lady. And she lays it down to me and says, well, I can't guarantee, there's no guarantees that you're going to get all your feeling back in your fingers. And, more than likely the best thing that's going to come out of all this is you'll be able to sleep at night and you won't wake up with your hand numb. So, as of right now, there's no difference in my hand at all. I still have the numbness in my 2 fingers and my thumb. And it feels exactly the same as before I had the surgery. I have noticed that my hand isn't going to sleep, but I still have the numbness in my fingers. Um, it wasn't as scary as I thought. Uh, they gave me this shot in the IV thing. This guy put this stuff in there, and I would say within 20 seconds I was asleep. The next thing I know, I was waking up. And when I woke up, I was kind of shocked. I was kind of freaking out because I was thinking, oh shit. I woke up and they're still cutting me with a knife. I mean, I thought, I was still having surgery. I didn't know. But I just want to say to everybody out there that's had major surgery, I don't know how you feel. I'm not going to sit here and say I know how you feel because I don't. I can tell you one thing from having carpal tunnel surgery, from being paranoid and scared like I was to have this done. I can only imagine how somebody that's going to have heart surgery or colon cancer surgery or prostate cancer surgery or, getting nerves fused in your back and all this. I can only imagine the stress and the pain and the anger and the hate and the frustration that you are going through or what you did go through. I can only imagine the person that got the triple bypass heart surgery and the 4 stents put in his body. I can only imagine how he goes to sleep at night and tells himself when he goes to sleep, am I going to wake up tomorrow, Lord, or are you going to take my life tonight? I can only imagine how scared that person is to go to sleep and hope and pray that he's going to wake up and see the sun tomorrow morning. I can only imagine, or I can't imagine, I'm sorry, what the person feels like that had his spinal cord fused together. How he gets up from sitting down, how he sits down, how he walks around, how he moves, how he bends, how he leans over the counters, how he gets his glass of water. And I'm over here whining and crying about some bullshit little fucking situation that I got. Always remember this. If you whine and cry and complain about your problems, they're not the other person's problem. And people can tell you, I have worse problems than you do. And in the most cases, they're right. But the problems that you have personally are your problems. And to you, that problem is a big problem. But to other people, it might not be a big problem. And you shouldn't, what can I say, down a person because he's whining and crying and bitching about a situation or a problem that he's having. I don't know if I'm making sense on this, but it's kind of like my little, sissy ass problem I got with my hand. I never complained about it. I never made a video and said, oh, I got my hands fucked up and ran. Now, I might have bitched and complained to Minnie, the body shop girl, about it because she's my wife. And, you got to bitch and complain to somebody. But I didn't bitch and complain and whine about it constantly all the time. I just took the pain and that's what I had, But when it came to the surgery, it really, shocked me and made me feel like I'm getting fucking old. In Dallas, Texas, at my shop, my shop was kind of a hangout shop. And when I say that, I had people that would come over to my shop just to hang out. They didn't want me to work on their cars. They didn't have anything for me to work on. They just wanted a place to hang out. And the people I'm talking about, and I think I mentioned this last night in my other video, but I'm going to go a little farther with it. I'm talking about old guys, right? We're talking old senior citizens. We're talking 70-plus-year-old guys. They would come over to my shop and they'd hang out. And whatever I was doing, I would stop working and I would go in my office and I'd sit in there. And however long they wanted to stay there, I didn't give a shit. I would stay there with them and I'd talk to them. Because these guys, I guess they just didn't have anywhere to go, or they didn't have a lot of friends. And they figured if they came over to my place, you know, it was a place where they felt comfortable and it was a safe place to be as far as friendship and just, you know, a place to go where they were wanted. And I miss these guys. There's actually 3 of them that I can think of the most. One of them was Old Man Bob, which lived down the street from me. And then there was Leon. And then there was a guy named Bill. Old Man Bob, he died from a stroke. Old Man Leon died from overdose of Oxycontin. He turned into an Oxycontin drug addict. And he eventually died from it. And Old Man Bill, he's still alive. And he is, I believe Old Man Bill is 85 years old. And he just had to put his wife in a nursing home because she turned into a violent person that has Alzheimer's disease. So he now lives in his house by himself. His son and daughter are gone. He doesn't have anybody. And he just got over the pneumonia. And the reason I know all this is because he called and talked to Minnie the other day. And in his voice, he sounded like he missed coming over to my shop. Out here in Moab, nobody comes to my shop. I don't have people that come over and hang out and bullshit and want to, chit chat. Once in a while, someone will come around, but I miss my old buddies. And everybody gets old. It's a way of life. Just like everybody dies. And there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is keep on living. And if you have a surgery, be scared. Because being scared of something is telling you that you're alive and you have feelings and you care about yourself. Because if you can't do for yourself, you can't do for anybody else. So I won't be able to work for several days. I got a Band-Aid on my hand, and I don't know. I want to thank everybody for supporting my friend Pete. And if you're having hard times out there in the world, always remember You're not the only one. There's other people out there that are having worse times than you are. But then that goes back to saying, my problems aren't your problems. And the problems that I have, to me, are bad. So you can't justify the situation and say, there's other people out there that have worse problems than you. Because that's telling me that my problems aren't big enough. But to me, they are big enough. And by me being scared of having that surgery was a very big issue to me and a very big problem. But I overcame the situation and everything passed. So I guess I'm going to let everybody go. This is Pete. This was just an update. My surgery went great. Everything's fine. I read all the comments, or should I say 90% of all the comments, and I read comments that people left of surgeries that they had. And I just want to say God bless all and every one of you, that if you fall into a situation where you need to have surgery, whether it's a major surgery or a minor surgery, my prayers go out to you, that person, and I hope that everybody stays strong. See you later. Take it easy, and we'll be posting new videos shortly.